Jami-Lee Ross.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you for talking to us. Why are you talking to us? You've got a political comeback in mind. What's the plan?
Well, it's been 5 years since I was in Parliament. I've had a lot of time to reconnect with family and friends and find more enjoyment in my life. And one of the things that I have always enjoyed is getting involved in the local community. And so with the council elections coming around this year, I've decided to stand for a seat on the Howick Local Board. Look, it's not at the same level I used to be at, but it's at a level that I think I can make a difference. I do have 16 years experience as a city councillor and as a member of Parliament, and I think I can put those skills to good use helping people locally on the Howick Local Board.
It's a long way from the beehive. I mean, it's, with all respect to local board members, it's kind of, library, footpaths, rubbish collection level, isn't it? Is that a bit of a come down for you?
Well, I'd like to think I'm a calmer, more humble individual than what I was 5 years ago when I left Parliament.
Are you calmer and more humble?
Yeah, I've found a lot more calmness and enjoyment in my life. But, I started on the Manukau City Council 20 years ago. I started at that grassroots level 20 years ago, and I actually had a lot of fulfillment and enjoyment helping people at that local level. And, a lot has been written about me in the past. It's a shame in this industry that, 16 years of public office gets narrowed down to a few headlines. But actually over those 16 years, I spent a lot of time on the ground doing a lot of good work. And I think I've got skills that I can contribute and help people at the local level with.
I mean, but that career probably has been narrowed down to a few headlines. But
sure.
Do you acknowledge that you did a fair bit to make that the case, that the headlines were there for a reason?
Absolutely. It was 7 years ago now, in 2018, when all of that blew up. There were a lot of us making a lot of bad decisions. All of us that were involved at the time are no longer in Parliament, but I think I've moved on.
You are now running for public office at a different level, of course.
Sure.
Do you need then to do more than just say that was 7 years ago? You say that you did things wrong. Do you want to say what those things are so that voters can make a decision as to whether they think you have been rehabilitated?
Well, I had a war with the leader of my political party at the time, and it didn't end well. Most people in Parliament, if they go head to head with the political leader, they end up losing out. I should have just calmly gone to the backbenches and just worked my way up as a local MP from the backbenches further forward. But I didn't. I wasn't making good decisions. I own the fact that I played a significant part in my downfall. Everything about me has been put on the table.
One of the things that has been put on the table about you, but to which, to my knowledge, you haven't publicly responded, is the nature of your business, as reported by Newsroom in 2023, that you were the owner of an escort agency called Sapphire Blue.
Yes.
Tell me about your business.
When I was out of Parliament, I was before the courts. I didn't have a lot going on. I had a business partner that gave me an idea, and I ran with it. I've built up a business over 3 years. I've grown it to the point now there's management in place. I'm not there day to day. I basically do the administrative side of things for the business now, and I have a lot of free time that I can put to good use.
The concerns that were reported in Newsroom at the time included that women who were contracted, sex workers who were contracted, had numerous concerns, that they felt traumatised and they were fearing for their safety. And as I say, you've never responded to those concerns. What do you say now?
I run a professional business where 40 people earn an income from that business right there today. I wouldn't have 40 people, some of which have been there 2.5, 3 years. They wouldn't have stayed if we do a bad job. We provide a clean and safe place for people to work in a commercial building in a perfectly legal enterprise. I would challenge you to find any organisation out there that have that many people where everyone is 100% happy. It just turns out that when you're a past MP, it's easy for someone to go and make anonymous comments.
Why did you need a pseudonym, Dylan Rose?
pretty much everyone in the industry that runs a business like that uses a pseudonym.
Do you still use that pseudonym?
Most of them just call me by my name. The managers and the girls working there all know my name.
So Dylan Rose still exists or doesn't?
Sometimes I'm called that by the people working there, sometimes Jami-Lee. They're all pretty interchangeable these days.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with owning an escort agency. As you point out, it's a perfectly legitimate business. It's legal in New Zealand. But how do you think the voters of Howick will respond to your business interests?
It's no secret. I started a business. It's grown to the point where I'm fairly hands-off and administrative now, and I have time free to do good work. I'd ask people to consider whether they want somebody there who knows the system well, who knows how to get things done, and who can put those good skills to good use at a local level.
There are some other, you knew there were going to be some awkward questions.
Sure.
One of those questions is about your time in Parliament and how you treated women. So you're familiar with the reporting that says that you were a bully. There's reporting about brutal sex, your misogyny. How do you respond to those claims?
I think if you look back at the time that all of that was going on, consider the context.
Are they true then, that all of that was going on? Do you acknowledge that those concerns are valid, those claims are accurate?
When I said going on, I meant the 2018 blow up with the National Party. I think it's worth considering the context of the warfare within the National Party at the time. But if I've hurt people, and I've said this before, I apologise for hurting people. I don't agree with everything and how everything was characterised, but I acknowledge that I wasn't always a good person. There were some people that I would have hurt, and I'm sorry for that. All I can do is say sorry and say that was a long time ago. I'm a calmer, more humble individual now who just wants to help out on a local level.
Well, you've been humbled, haven't you?
Absolutely. You don't go through all of that firestorm and come out the other side without learning some lessons.
Have you actually, it's all very well to say this to us today, that you're apologising to those people.
But I've said it before, Paula.
Yes, and have you apologised to them in person?
Look, I don't interact with people in the National Party or from the past anymore because I don't think they want to hear from me, and I don't particularly want to get involved in National Party politics anymore. So
that's a no.
The opportunity to talk to them is not really there. I made mistakes and I'm sorry for that. But I've moved on. It was 7 years ago. I'm a calmer, more humble person now who can still put good skills to good use for people at a local level.
So that's the third time you've said you're calmer and more humble. Now let's
it's also
talk.
True.
Right, I'm not suggesting that it's not. And this is a tricky question because I don't want to.
I wasn't expecting just easy questions.
That's good. Let's talk then about your mental health, because you've acknowledged previously that it reached crisis point. How are you now in terms of your mental health?
I'm doing great. If you put somebody under enough pressure with the national spotlight on them for days on end, with journalists up and down the country chasing them, and their life collapsing around them, good luck finding somebody that can handle all of that. I broke. I played a part in breaking myself, but I've spent a lot of time learning how to be happier with myself and with my life, and my mental health is doing great.
What have you done?
It's been a long time since I've been near a mental health facility, but
what have you done? What have you learnt about what needs to be done differently?
I spend a lot of time with my kids and with my friends and enjoying things with life. I'm not in the same highly strung, highly stressful environment that I used to be in. And the local board is very different if you're about to ask if it's going back into the same bed, but if somebody goes through such a crisis and they come out the other side, they learn to just enjoy themselves more and enjoy life more and find a happy point.
It might not be the same beer pit, but because you are Jami-Lee Ross, the very fact that you're putting yourself back out there in the public domain, albeit at local board level, means you are opening yourself up right now,
Sure.
and will continue to public scrutiny. Why would you do that?
Because I have some skills that I can put to good use at a local level. I'm not afraid to say that I did good things in 15, 16 years in politics. They're not all sexy, they're not all going to get written about in Stuff or the Herald, but I did a lot of good work for a lot of people locally.
An Auckland councillor told me that you were nominating for the Howick Local Board, and I said to him, how do you think that will be received? He said, hopefully with overwhelming opposition.
I know you like to be transparent, Paula. Who was that?
Journalists don't reveal their sources.
But they like to quote anonymous people.
Are you prepared for that mood?
I'm prepared to put myself in front of the local community that I did represent for a long time and say, I can still do good work for you. And I still have the skill set to help you out on that local level. And I'd like to be able to do that.
Do you think that it's a reasonable ask of yours to expect people to be able to put to one side all of these concerns that we've discussed, the way that you have treated people for which you are now apologising? Do you think that it's reasonable to expect people to accept that you're vote-worthy?
I'd ask people to consider the totality of what I did over the almost 2 decades of work in local politics. It's easy to summarise everything down to a few headlines and to a few incidences in a short space of time. But I did a lot of good work. If they want somebody who knows the processes, who can get things done, who can navigate local issues for them, I can still do that.
You haven't forgotten how to be a politician, have you? Listen to you go. Getting back on a bike.
I still have skill sets that I can put to good use to people. I can do that. If they want somebody who's perfect, who's a saint, I'm not that. But if they want somebody who knows how to get things done for them locally, I have the skill set to do that. I'd like the opportunity to show people again at a local level that I can still serve them and get good outcomes for them.
So when you are on the hustings, if that's what you do at local board level, how will you introduce yourself?
Exactly how I have here today. I'm Jami-Lee Ross. I'm a former MP, former city councillor. I can serve you locally and get things done for you. I have 16 years of skills that I can put to good use. That's exactly what I've put in the candidate profile statement, exactly what I'd say to people. Judge me for everything I've been able to do, most of which was very good. I know that I've made mistakes. Everybody does. Just so happens that my mistakes all blew up in the media, all in the public eye. And
are you telling me today that you don't think you are currently making any mistakes? Because you know that as soon as this interview is published, anyone who's got a concern with you is going to come and tell me about it.
Of course, it's the nature of elections and political systems. I run a legal business. It has independent contractors who come to us and want to work. And if people are unhappy, they are very welcome to walk out the door at any point in time. That is everyone's right in that industry. I have skill sets that I can put to good use, though, and I'd like to do that for people.